As this may come as a surprise to some of you, but I was a touch too innocent growing up. Naive, some would say clueless, maybe the words others use, and it didn't really rub off. Like a lot of people sort of grow out of that, you know, as they get hardened by life's experience, but not so much for me. When I was 12, for example, I accidentally saw like 30 seconds of a porn movie, and there was a naked man who was on a giant swing, who was swinging in and out, literally, of a woman who was also naked doing a backbend in the shallow end of a pool. And I was totally mystified by this and asked my older cousin Christy, as she changed the channel with boredom, what they were doing. And she said, they're having sex. Like that. And I just remember thinking, that's what sex is? Like, I don't have a giant swing. I can't even do a backbend. Like, I'll never do this. I'm going to be a virgin forever. But then, just 3 short years later, when I was 15, I met a guy who was even more naive than me. He had never even heard about the whole pool swing thing. And so we were drawn to each other. And my parents got word of the fact that I was dating. And my parents called me into the formal living room, had me sit down, and my mother started, "Dear, no one could be more surprised than us to learn that you finally have a boyfriend." Thanks, thank you. So we've decided that we should have the talk. And then she said, "Okay, David, you're on." And my okay, yeah. Someday, when you're old enough, you may watch the movie Beach Blanket Bingo. And if you do, you will see that there are kids who get carried away on beaches, on blankets, playing bingo. So you want to be careful of that. I said, don't worry, I'm really good at bingo. You are? And I said, yeah, don't you remember that time I won $5 at church? And my mother stepped in. She could sense things going awry. And she said, what your father means by beach blanket bingo is people having sex. He does? Yes. It's like a code word. So from here on out, the main thing to remember is that we just want you to be careful to not get carried away and to think really carefully before you engage in bingo. And the real thing to remember, though, and this is important, is that even if you don't have sex, you could still get pregnant. Because sperm moves. What? And she said, you know how when sperm goes inside you and it swims up the fallopian tubes to fertilize the egg? Well, I had no idea that there was an egg inside me at all. This was all news. She said, even if it goes outside you, like gets on your clothes or something, it can still move. And it will find you and go inside you, and that's how you wind up pregnant. I mean, people, this was before the internet, so first of all, I didn't have a way to check out what she was saying for veracity. I just had to believe her. But second of all, I mean, for me, this was as viral as it got. Like, I was terrified. I was having nightmares. I mean, sperm was like the Blob on the steroids. It would hone in and find me and like go for me like sound sonar. I don't know how it finds you, but it does. And I was terrified. I was determined not to have anything to do with sperm, even though I was dating somebody. But luckily this wasn't a problem because, as I said, he was really naive like me. So like it was 2 months before he even held my hand. But then he started wearing me down with monthly anniversary cards. That, I know, clearly not understanding the concept of anniversary, but anniversary. He did monthly anniversary cards celebrating our love, and they often had Air Supply lyrics in them. And I'll never forget the actual anniversary. He wrote the lyrics to Every Woman in the World. And this was so amazing. And plus, on top of that, we were at his house because his house was more conducive to like being able to be in a bedroom with a closed door. And so we had the radio on, and we were sort of kissing, but still no sperm involved, just want you to know. And well, we were kissing, and the song Every Woman in the World came on the radio at the same time as, and it just blew my mind. I just snapped. And it was like, okay, I will be every woman in the world. Do what you will. Have your way with me. And I got to tell you, there was some moisture. There might have been sperm. And I wound up walking home just in a daze, thinking, yeah, I might have some sperm on an article of clothing now, and this could be bad. And I was suddenly worried, not really about the whole thing, like even being pregnant, but how I was going to tell my mom, especially after she'd warned me. And so I started this plan. When I got home, the next morning, I told my mother that I had had a dream where this angel had talked to me and had said this. And she was like, peace? And I was like, no, I think it meant second. I was planning the whole second coming so that I wouldn't have to admit that I had sex. But, well, it turned out I did not get pregnant. I know you're surprised. But it also turned out I did not lose my virginity as I thought, because it turns out you need to have your clothes off to lose your virginity. So I am less naive now, a little bit, but I'll tell you, it wasn't until college that I figured all this out, and I wanted to call up my high school boyfriend and like say to him, like, can you believe all the stuff you can do when you actually take your clothes off? But I didn't, because that would be naive and stupid. But yes, so the moral of the story is to watch out for sperm. I still believe my mom was right about that, and and to trust that eventually life will help you grow out of your naivete. Thank you.